Welcome back to the channel, my fellow Salem addicts. I am officially done. EJ just made the biggest, stupidest mistake of his entire life. I'm sorry, but I just cannot defend him anymore. You all just wait and see. Rafe Hernandez is going to throw EJ in prison for this kidnapping plot. This is the end for age. But wait. I am getting way too worked up already, so let me step back a second to explain what is actually happening for anyone who missed today's episode. My heart is literally still pounding. First of all, we have the whole Gwen situation. It is incredibly lucky, or just his usual toxic privilege, that EJ managed to escape formal charges for that mess. While Leo and Rafe are off in Alamania, trying to save Gwen from Dimitri, EJ is back in Salem acting like he is untouchable. But I mean, come on. Everyone in this town knows he is still the #1 suspect. So what does he do? Instead of laying low and keeping his hands clean, EJ decides to go bigger and completely self-destruct. He is literally orchestrating more kidnappings this week. And the victim this time? His own flesh and blood. His sister, Kristen DiMera. Oh my God. He actually ordered his goons to snatch Kristen, shove her into a suffocating metal shipping container, and ship her off to the family's deserted private island. I mean, watching Stacy Hyduck act out that sheer pavor and panic and desperation was absolutely incredible. She is such a powerhouse actress, and she sold every single second of that terror. But EJ's actions? I am completely speechless. You do not just lock your sister in a box. And why is EJ losing his absolute mind like this? Because of his toxic, paranoid obsession with his kids? EJ is furious because he found out Kristen was pulling the strings behind Sophia Choi's plot to kill Johnny. Which, okay, I get it. That is a valid reason to be incredibly angry. But then Kristen had the audacity to try and lure Sydney to Paris for Fashion Week. That was the trigger. In EJ's twisted, paranoid brain, he is 100% convinced Kristen is going to murder Sydney, just like she tried to do with Johnny. I know some people on the forums are loving this and defending EJ. I see the comments like, oh, he's just being a protective father. He has to stop Kristen. I'm sorry, but no. I mean, there are 1,000 legal, normal ways to protect your kids. Why immediately jump to acting like a total psychopath and locking your sister in a shipping container? It is so extreme and unhinged. Remember back in 2018 when they tried these massive kidnapping plots? Yeah, didn't work then either. It just ended in complete family destruction, and this is exactly the same recycled mess. Plus, can we just pause and think about Sammy Brady for a second? If Sammy finds out that Kristen was targeting Sydney, and that EJ's response was to start a literal kidnapping war, she is going to fly back from Europe and burn Salem to the ground. Sammy does not play when it comes to her kids. EJ is playing with fire, and he is going to get entirely burned. Marlena literally warned EJ that he was walking in Stefano's footsteps, and she was absolutely right. He has crossed the point of no return. But the absolute wildest, most mind-boggling twist of this entire storyline is Lexi. Am I the only one who thinks this part is incredibly clunky? Lexi somehow randomly overhears EJ talking to his henchman about the island abduction plan. So, out of some weird sense of sisterly duty or whatever, she runs and tells Kristen. And then, what happens next? Lexi actually lets Kristen convince her to take her place in the container because Lexi thinks she is dying anyway, which, don't even get me started on this dragged out Christmas in July deathbed storyline that has been exhausting me for weeks. She decides she wants to go to the deserted island to die peacefully. Like, what? What kind of logic is that? You want to crawl into a dark, hot shipping container to be shipped to a deserted island just to die in peace? I was watching this scene, just holding my head in my hands. It makes zero sense. I love the drama, but I hate this writing. It is just so incredibly forced. Okay, back to the point. Obviously, the writers weren't going to let that crazy swap actually happen. The plan completely falls apart in today's duel episode. Something went terribly wrong. Lexi's condition suddenly worsens, she collapses, and she doesn't even make it to the swap, let alone get into the container. Poor Abe and Theo are going to be absolutely destroyed when they realize, Doctor, Rolf's resurrection serum is failing. But because Lexi collapsed, EJ's abduction goes off without a hitch. He got Kristen out of Salem. He is sitting there smirking, thinking he is the ultimate hero, protecting his family. But he has no idea. He just dug his own grave. And this is the part I am so here for. Lexi is definitely not going to just stay quiet and die. I am calling it right now. In her final moments, fueled by pure rage at EJ's cruelty, Lexi is going to confess everything. She is going to tell her family, and more importantly, she is going to tell the cops. She will spill every single detail of EJ's kidnapping plot so they can go rescue Kristen. Can you even imagine the look on Rafe Hernandez's face? Oh my God, Rafe has been waiting for this day for years. I've been watching since 2015, and I am so sick and tired of the DiMeras getting away with literal murder through some magical loophole. But not this time. Rafe is going to have the motive, the witness, and the evidence to finally throw EJ behind bars. I am putting all my faith in Rafe. This is the end for Edge. Of course, I know EJ. When the cops show up, he's going to lie straight to their faces. He'll deny everything. And without a living witness who saw Kristen forced into the van, he might try to slither out again. Unless they find the island and rescue Kristen. And don't even get me started on the alliance forming against him. Xander, Brady, and Sarah are literally teaming up to plot against EJ. When Xander and Brady are actually working together, you have messed up. But honestly, karma is coming for EJ from all sides. It's not just the kidnapping. The more I think about it, the more I realize his CEO seat is completely doomed. Do you guys remember the toxic waste dump at DiMera Pharmaceuticals on Smith Island? The arsenic-laced drugs? That toxic mess has already caused at least 2 deaths, including Destiny, and heaven only knows how many other victims are out there. It literally leaked into the well water. That accident at the Horton cabin almost killed Holly Jonas. I mean, watching Ashley Puzemis in that scene literally stopped my heart. Tate was freaking out, Holly collapsed, and it was all because of EJ's massive corporate cover-up. He knew about those tainted drugs and he did nothing. And who holds the key to this deadly corporate secret? Johnny? Johnny knows everything about his dad's crimes. I am so torn right now. On one hand, I think Johnny might stay quiet out of some misguided family loyalty. He has always tried to see the good in EJ. But on the other hand, looking at Carson Boatman's agonized, conflicted facial expressions, I think he might actually turn his dad in. Johnny is already dealing with Chanel's heartbreaking cancer diagnosis. He does not need this toxic DiMera guilt weighing him down. If Johnny flips on his dad and Rafe exposes the Kristen kidnapping, EJ is going to prison for the rest of his life. So basically, today's episode left me half celebrating and half complaining. I am thrilled that EJ's downfall is finally happening, but I am so frustrated by the clunky logic with Lexi and Kristen. I know a lot of fans on social media are crying for Lexi and calling Kristen selfish, but personally, I think EJ is the one who deserves all the hate. He crossed the line, kidnapping his sister, poisoning the water supply, lying to the cops. Rafe Hernandez, please do your job and lock him up. Throw away the key. This is the absolute end of EJ DiMera. No debate. What do you guys think? Is EJ going to buy his way out again, or is he finally going to pay the price? Let me know in the comments, because I need to share this with people who get it.